Welcome to Gold Derby. I'm senior editor Denton Davidson here with Karen Hartley-Thomas, the hair, makeup, and prosthetics designer for Golda, starring Helen Mirren. Karen, you transformed this Hollywood icon into the Iron Lady of Israel. And I heard you had 6 weeks to prepare. So tell me about that meeting with director Guy Nativ and what were your thoughts about that timeline?
Yes. Well, I met Guy, as you say, literally 6 weeks before shooting. And I desperately wanted to do the job regardless. I just worked with Helen on a film called The Duke. So when he offered me, I thought, right, we're going to have to start immediately with everything. So I phoned my usual prosthetic people who said, no, thanks very much. We're not doing that in that time. Um, so I sort of asked around for somebody else, and I found Susie at Red Girl Effects, who was a prosthetics designer as well. And she said, okay, we'll do it. I mean, it's very tough because we had a week. Helen came back for a week before shooting. So we started off the prosthetics, started the sculpt. I'd already got Helen's shape for a wig. So we started that. Eyebrows, teeth. We just started as soon as we could do it. Had a chat to Helen, and she said, well, maybe we could just do the wig and the eyebrows, or maybe we can just do this. Or so we thought, if we get everything as quickly as we can do it and test it and maybe discard some stuff, which we did do, and just really give it a go. So I went to Alex Rouse to start the wig, and we sort of poured over photos of Golda and got it together for Helen. And it was just kind of hit the ground running and do it. Really was like that.
How many prosthetics pieces were there
Yeah.
to change her?
Well, there weren't as many actually as people think, because Susie was very aware of, well, we've got two iconic women there. And we really did not want to just transpose Golda's face onto Helen. We wanted to do as minimal as we possibly could. So we had a very small nose piece, two flat eye bags, cheek piece, and a half a neck piece. We did have a chin, but we discarded the chin, and we had teeth and we discarded the teeth. So there aren't as many as you would think. And we used old age stipple as well, because even though Helen was the same age as Golda would have been at that time, she looked younger. So we had a bit of stipple around the eyes and also a little bit around the mouth.
I
So
heard
it's
you
not a full face of prosthetics as people often think.
And I heard you're so detailed that you even stained her fingers because Golda was a chain smoker. So
Absolute massive chain smoker. Yes, we did. And that's why we had the teeth made. We made sort of nicotine stained teeth, but poor Helen, you can only have put up with so much of 2.5 hours in a makeup chair. So yeah, we looked into quite a lot of detail with Golda. We were very lucky because her grandson was involved and gave us a lot of information on her. The texture of her hair when it was wet, that she would always plait her hair wet and then put it up into her bun. Just little things like that that we could use. It's really advantageous for us to have that information.
and there's actual footage, archival footage that they inserted
I
Helen's
know.
character into. Talk about the complication of that, because then are you at that point trying to copy exactly as much as you can, or what was that? What was the biggest challenge with that?
Well, that was a tough one. When I saw that, I must say my heart rather leapt. But even so, I still didn't want to just, transpose the face of Golda onto Helen. I had to leave Helen. We've got one of the world's top actresses there, and you want to feel her presence. And also, it's comfortable for Helen with less prosthetic. So we sort of almost went for an essence of Golda and hope it worked out that way. But yes, having the footage was a bit of a tough call.
What is it like to have a prior relationship with someone? Does that change how you go into a project? And what is Helen like in the
Well, it
makeup
kept,
there?
yeah, that's a good question because it really did change everything. I asked to have a Zoom with her with Sinead Kiddow, our costume designer, and Helen has never had the prosthetics like this before. And she said, I'm not really very keen to do this. And I said, look, she said, let's just do the wig. So I said, well, look, let's give it a go. I'll make them. we'll make it so that you'll be able to move your face. It will look natural. So we made, as I say, we made the pieces so they weren't connected. So we could have just used the nose, we could have just used the cheeks. You know, it was a matter of building up, but it definitely helped it because I think I talked her into it, if I'm absolutely honest, and said, let's give it a go and see what we come up with. So she'd okay, but I don't really think we'll use them. And then we did the test sort of a week before shooting. And she said, uh-oh, yeah, okay, we're going to have to use them. So we got lucky.
And how long is that process in the chair to do the hair and the makeup? What are you talking
Yeah,
about? I mean, is
well,
she
2.5 hours. Well, Helen would have her iPad there looking at Golda stuff all of the time. So there were two prosthetic artists on her, Susie and Ashra. And then myself and Annette would do the wig, the eyebrows. Helen put the contacts in, she had brown contacts as well. So it's, it's 2.5 hours, but then it's 45 minutes at the end of the day to get it all off. So it's a big commitment for Helen. And she was in every single day of the shoot. There wasn't one day that she had off.
What are the technical aspects of creating a wig like that for people like me who don't know much about hair and makeup? What goes into that? How long does a wig take to make? And that one specifically for someone of that age in that time period.
Well, I was very lucky that I knew it was Helen and I got Helen's head shape. So really, while it was all the deals were still being done, I sort of got the foundation made. And Alex has made Helen's wig for a long time. And I sort of phoned her up and said, I need a wig in 4 weeks. She said, Karen, I'm awfully busy. I said, well, I've got three little words, Dame, Helen, Mirren. And she said, okay. So we went and looked at texture of hair because there's lots of distinctive characteristics of Golda, but definitely the hair is a distinctive characteristic. So it's the texture of the hair that, Alex and I constantly talking about and looking at. Eyebrows, we had to get the eyebrows made in the same way. So it's a lengthy process. We had Liev Schreiber as Kissinger, and as soon as we knew he was doing it, I sent over for a shape from Campbell Young in New York, who kindly sent it to me. And I think we made that in about 6 days in my team. But Helen's took, I think Helen's took 4 weeks to make. It is about 4 weeks. Obviously, you like longer because you can make changes. And indeed, when we put it on her, we added a bit more grey and a bit more texture. So really, it's always time to test that I'm looking for. But on this job, there wasn't much time to test.
And Golda clearly gets the most attention, but you mentioned Liv Schreiber, and there's a whole cast to this film. So what sort of team do you have around you to help with that? And talk about some of the other work on some of those other cast members that might not be as dramatic, but was,
But they're real characters. Yes, they're all real life characters. So we had a wonderful Israeli cast. I have to say that. I don't know if I've ever worked with a cast. And I mean, Moshe Dayan, do you mind shaving your bald pate in and dyeing the rest of your hair? No, don't mind. It was all like that. And everybody had something, we'd have people arrive the day before and make a tiny hairpiece. Dominic, who played Hem Bar-Lev, tiny piece sort of overnight. It was a bit like that. So all of them, yeah, we had a lot of real characters to match to, but all of them were very willing to help. And mostly we sort of got away without using too many wigs on them. A few hair pieces, but that was all.
What kept you up the most at night? I mean, what was the most stressful part of all of this, do you think, in terms of, was it the prosthetics? Was it the timing?
I think the only time I sort of worried was in the prep stages for it. You do worry about that when there's not enough time for stuff. But as soon as we started, it actually was one of the nicest jobs I've ever done. It was quite a small team. It wasn't a massive film. And we had lovely people. It was like a family. And everybody was incredibly supportive. directors of photography are so important, and directors. Guy was very, very instrumental in all of this, because we sort of thought, we haven't got time, Guy. I don't think we should be doing it. No, we're doing it. And we had a wonderful DOP, Jasper, because they can make or break it, really. And he made it. I have to say that. He did. And in all of them, the design, and Sinead, because we had the legs to do. Sinead had a bodysuit to do. So it was a lot, but we all came together as a team. So as soon as we were up and running with it, it was quite smooth sailing.
Well, it comes through on the film, and it's really impressive work on Golda. Best of luck this award season, and thanks for joining our Derby Film Makeup and Hair panel.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you so much. Thank you.